Picture a place so rugged, so stark, that its earliest inhabitants called it Mako Sika, pronounced Mako Sika meaning Badlands. French fur trappers later echoed that feeling, dubbing it Les Mauvaises Terres pour Traverser, pronounced Les Mauvaises Terres pour Traverser, which means Badlands to travel through. This is Badlands National Park in South Dakota. It's a place defined by its sharply eroded buttes and pinnacles. It's a landscape that tells a story etched in stone and time, but long before European trappers or even the Lakota, this land pulsed with life. For 11,000 years, Native Americans hunted here. Paleo-Indians came first, then the Arikara people, whose descendants now live far to the north. They camped in hidden valleys where water and game were reliably found. Today, if you look closely at eroding stream banks, you might spot the charcoal from ancient campfires or tools they used to butcher bison and other game. Beneath the striking landscape lies a treasure trove for scientists, the richest deposits of Oligocene mammal fossils known anywhere. This area has been a hotspot for paleontology since the 1840s. Early discoveries, like a jaw fragment mistaken for a paleotherium, quickly sparked interest. By the mid-1850s, out of 84 distinct North American fossil species identified, 77 came from the White River Badlands. Scientists still flock here, digging into the past, revealing creatures like ancient camels, running rhinos, and fearsome creodonts that roamed here 33 million years ago. Historically, much of this region belonged to the Great Sioux Nation, specifically the Oglala Lakota. The 1868 Second Treaty of Fort Laramie promised the Badlands would forever be theirs. Yet, just over 2 decades later, that treaty was broken, and the land was confiscated by the United States government. It's a complex history, a wound that runs deep, and one the Lakota have never forgotten. Towards the end of the 19th century, as their world was being reshaped, many Oglala Sioux turned to the ghost dance, a spiritual movement promising renewal and the return of their way of life. One of the last recorded ghost dances took place right here, on Stronghold Table in what is now the park's South Unit. It was a ceremony of hope, tragically followed by the devastating Wounded Knee Massacre nearby in December 1890, a final, violent clash that marked a grim turning point. The 20th century brought new arrivals, homesteaders seeking a life on the prairie. They came from Europe and the eastern United States, lured by the promise of free land. A 160-acre homestead was the standard, but in this semi-arid environment, it proved far too small. Even increasing it to 640 acres wasn't enough for many. They built sod houses and tried to raise cattle and grow crops. But the harsh climate, coupled with the dust bowl of the 1930s and waves of grasshoppers, forced most to abandon their dreams, leaving their homes to crumble back into the earth. Adding another layer to the history, during World War II, a large portion of the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, including land within the future park, was taken by the United States Army Air Force for a gunnery range. This meant 125 families were forcibly relocated. For years, the area was used for precision and demolition bombing, air-to-air and air-to-ground firing. People who stayed nearby recalled diving under tractors while cutting hay to avoid falling bombs. Today, the ground in some areas still holds discarded shell casings and unexploded ordnance, a stark reminder of this unusual chapter. Today, Badlands National Park covers nearly 250,000 acres. It's not just a single entity, it's split into units. The North Unit contains the designated wilderness area, a vast stretch of undisturbed prairie. The South Unit, also known as the Stronghold District, lies within the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation. It is co-managed by the National Park Service and the Oglala Lakota tribe. This is a unique partnership reflecting the complex history of the land. The park plays a crucial role in conservation. In 1963, 50 bison were brought here from Theodore Roosevelt National Park. Their descendants now form a herd of over 1,200 magnificent animals roaming the prairie. In 2019, their habitat was expanded significantly with new fencing, giving these icons of the plains even more room to thrive. Conservation efforts extend to some of North America's most vulnerable species. Badlands National Park is one site where the black-footed ferret, one of the most endangered mammals in the world, has been reintroduced to the wild. The population inside the park has grown to around 100 individuals. The park also sees visits from the critically endangered whooping crane, though currently this population is not self-sustaining. The park preserves the largest undisturbed mixed-grass prairie in the United States. This isn't just uniform grassland. It's a transition zone between tall grass prairies to the east and short grass prairies to the west, with grasses ranging from ankle to waist high. While you find trees, shrubs, and wildflowers, grasses dominate this unique ecosystem. Western wheatgrass, the state grass of South Dakota, is one of the most common species here. Visitors today can explore this dramatic landscape through hiking trails, scenic drives, and 2 campgrounds. The Ben Rieffel Visitor Center offers exhibits and information in the North Unit, while the White River Visitor Center in the South Unit provides insight into the region's Lakota heritage. For those seeking solitude, the wilderness area offers a chance to experience the prairie away from any trails, though permits are required for camping. The park faces contemporary challenges. One ongoing issue revolves around land rights. The Oglala Lakota tribe maintains a claim to the land, viewing the 1889 confiscation as unjust. Despite the 1980 Supreme Court awarding compensation, the Sioux have refused the money, holding that the Black Hills and surrounding areas including parts of the park are not for sale. Discussions about creating a tribal national park continue, highlighting the complex relationship between the federal government and the tribe over this ancestral land. Another challenge concerns the very reason the park was established as a monument: its fossils. Despite protective measures, fossil poaching and looting by visitors and criminals remain a problem. Protecting these irreplaceable scientific resources, embedded in the eroding rock, requires constant vigilance from park staff. Finally, like many parks, Badlands faces the impacts of climate change. Predictions suggest shifts in temperature, precipitation patterns, and increased frequency of extreme weather events like summer drought. Park management is developing strategies. These are categorized as no-regrets actions. This means they benefit resources regardless of the specific climate future. The goal is to protect native plants, wildlife, fossils, and infrastructure against an uncertain environmental future. Badlands National Park is more than just dramatic scenery. It's a place where layers of history are exposed: geologic, paleontological, and human. From ancient hunters and colossal fossil mammals, to broken treaties, military ranges, struggling homesteaders, and ongoing conservation battles, the Badlands tells a story of resilience, conflict, and enduring natural wonder.